All right, so today's 4.2 Day 2 notes, solving algebraic equations. We'll be able to solve algebraic equations with variables on both sides of the equation. Okay, so the idea of balancing can also be used to solve an equation with variables on both sides. You can solve an equation by isolating, remember, getting alone the variable on one side of the equation. Paul and Rachel are asked to solve 4x plus 7 equals x plus 10. As shown, they isolate the variable on different sides of the equation. Okay, now I will tell you what I normally do is I look for the smaller variable, and that's the one I move. Okay, so it's either the smaller positive number or it's the larger negative number. All right, so I am going to go over here with the method on the left. So what we do is we have 4x plus 7 equals x plus 10. I told you we have a 4x on one side and an x on the other. So what I would do is I'm going to subtract x from both sides. So the x's right here are going to cancel each other out. And 4x minus x, these are like terms. 4x minus x is 3x. 3x plus 7 equals 10. Now it's a basic two-step equation. I draw my line through my equal sign and I circle my variable. Undo addition with subtraction. We subtract 7 from both sides. So I get 3x equals 10. Then, 10 minus 7 is 3, so we get 3x equals 3. Then we need to undo the multiplication, so we undo multiplication by dividing both sides by 3. And then 3 divided by 3 is 1, so x equals 1. Okay, so I'm going to go down here, and then it says check, and I'll show you how to check again when we get down here. So again, draw your line through your equal sign. I look at my variables. I have a negative 5x on the left and a positive 2x on the right. So I always remove, it's just easier than I know I'm dealing with positive numbers. I always remove the smaller variable. So the opposite of a negative 5x, since I'm just moving it from one side to the other, is to add 5x. So I'm going to add 5x to both sides. I apologize for I forgot my stylus today, so I have to use my finger. So subtract 5x, or add 5x to both sides. Negative 5x and positive 5x cancel out on the left. I'm left with 8. And then I have 2x plus 5x, which is 7x plus 22. We have not done any multiplication or division yet because, see, the 7 and the x are still stuck together. Now, I know a lot of you don't like the 8 by itself over here, so we can absolutely rewrite this. 7x plus 22 equals 8. Okay, draw the line through your equal sign and circle your variable. We're going to get rid of a plus 22. I'm going to give myself a little extra space here. So I'm going to subtract 22 from both sides. So I'm going to get 7x equals, now be careful, we have 8 minus 22. So keep, change. 22 minus 8 is negative 14. So you're going to get minus 14 here. Now, to undo the multiplication, we divide both sides by 7. Negative 14 divided by 7 is negative 2. Now, I'm going to do the check here. Write down your original equation. 8 minus 5x equals 2x plus 22. And every time you see an x, you're going to plug in a negative 2. So I have 8 minus 5 times negative 2 equals 2 times negative 2 plus 20. Plus 22. I'm going to set down there. Okay, so I'm going to start with my multiplication. 8 minus 5 times negative 2, negative 10, equals 2 times negative 2 is negative 4 plus 22. Okay, so this is going to give me 18, and this is also going to give me 18, so therefore we did it correctly. Okay? So I'm going to erase my check so that I can do this problem right here for B. All right, so it says another way to solve an equation is first multiply both sides by 10 and rewrite the coefficients as integers. Okay, so what they're saying is if you multiply this whole thing by 10, every single term by 10, instead of having decimals, you're going to have whole numbers. So when you multiply any decimal by 10, what it's doing, so multiplying by 10 means you move the decimal point one place to the right. Okay? So instead of 2.9y, you're going to have 29y. Plus 2.7 is going to become 27, equals 1.1 is going to become 11, minus 99. So each one of these decimal points is going to move over to the right one place. Now, you're welcome to keep the decimals and do that. Just if you would rather do that, that's fine. But I know a lot of you would rather work with whole numbers. But if you're multiplying by 10, that means every single digit needs to be multiplied by 10. All right, so now I'm going to draw my line, and I'm going to look at my variables. I have a positive 29 and a positive 11, and since 11 is the smaller of the two, that's the one I'm going to move. So I'm going to subtract 11y from both sides. So 29 minus 11 is 18y plus 27 equals negative 99. Now it's a basic two-step equation. We need to get rid of the positive 27. So I'm going to subtract 27 to both sides. Okay, so that's going to give me 18y equals, now these are both negative, so we add them. Okay, so it's going to give me negative 126. Okay, so now we need to undo the multiplication with division. And y equals negative 126 divided by 18 is negative 7. Okay, so for the next one, we have 3/4 x minus 1/2 equals 3/8 x plus 4. All right, so let's take a look at this one. And we have 3/4 x and 3/8 x. So the first thing we need to do is we need to put these all in the same common denominator. Okay, so 3/4, 1/2, and 3/8, our common denominator is going to be eighths. Okay, so this whole fraction is going to be multiplied by 2. That's going to give me 6/8. This whole fraction is going to be multiplied by 4. That's going to give me 4/8. Okay, so now I look at my problem, and I have a 6/8 x and a 3/8 x. So since 3/8 is smaller, that's the one I'm going to move. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 3/8 x from both sides. Those are going to cancel out. 6 minus 3 is going to give me 3/8 x. Minus 4/8 equals 4. Okay, now it's a basic two-step equation. So there's my variable x. I need to get rid of negative 4/8. So we're going to add 4/8 to both sides. So that's going to give me 3/8 x equals 4 and 4/8. Now we need to undo the multiplication, which is division, but we don't divide fractions. We multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply both sides by 8/3. Now, in order to do that, we need to turn 4 and 4/8 from a mixed number into an improper fraction. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 4 is 36/8 times 8/3. So my 8s are going to cancel out, and 36 divided by 3 is 12, so your answer is x equals 12. All right, so I'm going to give you one to try on your own, and then we will go over it, and then we're going to work on this again in class tomorrow. All right, so here's your problem. 5a minus 9 equals 2a minus 3. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and try that on your own, and then turn it back on, and we'll go over it. All right, so here we go. 5a minus 9 equals 2a minus 3. So I look at my variables. I have a 5a and a 2a. Since 2a is smaller, that's the one I'm going to move. And it doesn't really matter, honestly. It just makes it easier for me, more consistent for you. So to move a positive number to the other side, we're going to do the opposite, which is subtract. 2a's are going to cancel out on the left. On the right. 5a minus 2a is 3a minus 9 equals negative 3. Now it's a basic two-step equation. We undo our subtraction with addition, so I'm adding 9 to both sides. Now this is where you need to be careful because you have negative 3 plus 9. That gives you a positive 6. That's the work for this step right here. So I have 3a equals 6. Now I undo multiplication with division. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Okay, I'm going to give you one more to try, and then you will be on your way. Next one is 7n plus 10 equals 3n plus 2. So go ahead and try that one, and then that'll be it. All right, here's the work for the next one. Again, we have a 7n and a 3n, so I subtract 3n from both sides. 7n minus 3n is 4n plus 10 equals 2. Now it's a basic two-step equation. I do addition, we subtract 10 from both sides, so we have 2 minus 10. My work's over here on the side. Keep, change, you get negative 8, so 4n equals negative 8. Divide both sides by 4, and you get n equals 2. I'm going to scroll up and check that one for you. So we have 7n plus 10 equals 3n plus 2. And wherever we see an n, we're going to plug in a negative 2. Okay, so I'm going to put a negative 2 here. I'm going to put a negative 2 here. All right, so 7 times negative 2 is negative 14 plus 10 equals 3 times negative 2 is negative 6 plus 2. All right, so this is going to give me negative 4, and this also gives me negative 4. Since we have equal answers on both sides of the equal sign, we did it correctly. Have a good night. See you tomorrow.